Scott just made
Go
the
back to
point.
Thomas
Jeff
Jefferson,
Jefferson
you'll
used to
read
be a
that-
lot more secure, not just.
Did Megyn Kelly step over the line when questioning Donald Trump during last week's GOP presidential debate? I'm PJTV's Scott Ott, joined now by Bill Whittle and Stephen Cruiser, sitting in for Steve Green, who's out camping in the mountains with the Donner Party. Men, Sunday morning, I sat with three older women at a red state gathering breakfast in Atlanta, and all three of them were angry with Megyn Kelly over the following interaction with Donald Trump. Now, I'm going to play both parts in this interaction since we are not able to use the Fox debate footage of this. So Kelly says, Mr. Trump, one of the things people love about you is you speak your mind and you don't use a politician's filter. However, that is not without its downsides, in particular when it comes to women. You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, disgusting animals. Your Twitter account has several, and then Trump interrupted her and said, only Rosie O'Donnell. Kelly says, no, it wasn't. Your Twitter account, for the record, it was well beyond Rosie O'Donnell. And then Trump says, yes, I'm sure it was. Kelly goes on to say, your Twitter account has several disparaging comments about women's looks. You once told a contestant on Celebrity Apprentice it would be a pretty picture to see her on her knees. Does that sound to you like the temperament of a man that we should elect as president? And how will you answer the charge from Hillary Clinton, who is likely to be the Democrat nominee, that you are part of the war on women? Well, the women I spoke with Sunday morning are convinced that Kelly wants to destroy Trump and that Fox News has betrayed conservatives. One of them also told me that the question might have been appropriate if it had been asked by Bret Baier or Chris Wallace, but that Megyn Kelly, as a woman, had inserted herself into the story. Now, Stephen Cruiser, Republicans often complain about the liberal bias of the media. Is Megyn Kelly just a liberal sheep in Fox clothing? And was this question inappropriate in this setting?
Well, a twofold answer here. First of all, I think a lot of people have unrealistic expectations about what to expect from Fox News. Yes, there are a lot of friendlies at Fox News. No, it's not a completely conservatively biased network as the leftists portray it. And people also don't have very long memories. The Fox News Republican debates in 2012 were awful, absolutely awful. The questioning was awful. It was not a friendly atmosphere whatsoever. If people had just remembered that, they wouldn't have been expecting so much at this point. Having said that, I think that Megyn Kelly was bad, but not for that reason. I really don't even think that question was that bad. I think you got to prepare yourself for the gotcha questions because they're certainly going to come from CNN and the other networks when it comes time to debate on those networks. So the whole notion that Fox News should be lobbing the Republican softballs just because it's Fox News is kind of ridiculous and in a bit unrealistic about what's best to prepare them going forward. I thought she was a little smug at a lot of times. I didn't like the way she tossed the God question to Ted Cruz. She was like, what about it, Senator Cruz? Heard from God? I thought that was a little off-putting to me. I thought many of the questions she asked, she seemed to be smirking and preening for the camera. So yes, I think Megyn was inserting herself into this a lot. I thought Chris Wallace was pretty bad too, though. Bret Baier was a little more even-handed. But yes, so I'm one of the people who's occupying this rare space in the last few days where I don't like Trump's response and I didn't like Megyn's questioning. I don't like either one of them. I thought both were bad.
Cruiser, I think you could be a little more sensitive. Perhaps Megyn Kelly suffers from resting snark face. It afflicts many of us. So, Bill Whittle, did Kelly's question have any place in this forum? And if so, would it have been different and better if a man had asked it?
I'm so glad you asked that question in that exact fashion. First of all, it's a completely legitimate question. She didn't speculate. She didn't say, well, gee, Mr. Trump, a lot of people are concerned about your attitudes towards women. She mentioned specific examples of Trump making obviously sexist comments. It's a fair question. It's a legitimate question. It needs to be asked. And the thing that I got out of the question was, wouldn't it be nice if they asked these kind of questions of the other side? Or wouldn't it be nice if they asked these kind of pointed questions of the people actually in power as if they were, an actual press doing their actual job? The idea that Fox News has got to lob softballs because CNN lobs softballs is mistaken on two fronts. First of all, we don't have to be avoiding the truth because the truth is on our side. The entire purpose of the Democratic Party is to not tell the American people what they actually believe. And that's why they get the softball questions. And President Obama, when interviewed, is asked, what's your favorite color? And is it just as awesome being you as it seems to be from the outside? And these kind of tough questions of the most powerful men in the world. But it's more than that, Scott. Steve touched on it and you touched on it. By asking and answering tough questions, we improve our fitness. We improve our competitive fitness as a party and as candidates. Tough questions need to be asked, and watching them ask tough questions just made me sad that they don't ask tough questions of the other side. But I do want to say something about this. Would it have been better if it was asked by a man? Can we please stop this? Can we just stop this, please? Can we please stop this racial, sexual, gender identity nonsense? A question is a question. It's got an answer. It doesn't matter who asks it. I don't care if it's asked by a black person, a white person. I don't care if it's a gay Palestinian humpback whale asking the question. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Can we please stop with this? Oh, well, it would have been all right if a man asked it, but what color man? Would it have been better if a black man asked it? Would that have been a slightly better answer if it had been asked by a black man because he can more appreciate the struggle? Stop it. Stop it. We're not a nation of children. We're supposed to be adults. And adults can ask tough questions, and adults are supposed to answer tough questions, and I don't think Donald Trump gave a particularly good answer in that case.
Well, you know, I've previously called Megyn Kelly the last American journalist. After her debate performance last week, she still deserves that title, maybe even more. If you think Kelly was dredging up the ancient past, Trump showed by his response that she merely picked a scab from a fresh wound. Trump's answer to a tough question was first deception, then deflection, followed by complete diversion. He simply could have answered the question honestly. And you'll have to imagine this in your best Donald Trump impression. But he could have said, what do my statements about women say about whether I have the temperament to be president? I think they show that I'm blunt, and you'll always know exactly what I think. They also show that I regard women with such a sense of equality that I'll insult them with impunity as I would a man. For example, Chris Christie, you're a fat pig. Rand Paul reminds me of a little yappy dog. Jeb Bush, you're a slob, and the rest of you are disgusting animals. So, Megyn Kelly, why don't you take your gotcha question sheet and use it to dab your runny eyeliner, diaper your baby, or absorb the blood from wherever? Wait, no, I guess Trump could not have answered it any better than he did. It's just who he is. And Megyn Kelly let us see that. For Stephen Cruiser, Bill Whittle, and the entire trifecta crew at pjtv.com, I'm Scott Ott.